Hello YouTube. Welcome back. What are we doing today? We're going to do C7X1b, which is refactoring the Caesar Cipher which was using strings for its private instance fields. Let's refactor it and use static integer arrays and see how it's similar, how it's different. Alrighty, so let's go to the code. And there's C7X1a. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the shell. Alright, that's what we have so far. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy Rot13a.java to Rot13b.java so I can keep a copy of Rot13a and not mess it up and then play around with 13b. So I have two files, right? So copy Rot13a.java to Rot13b.java in the same directory. And now you see I have a new file. Now they're identical at this point, but not for long. Let's see where I put it. Is this it? Rot13 tester. Rot13b. There it is. Alright, so this is 13b. But let's change what we got to change. It's going to be B. It's going to be B. Okay, and then here I don't want a string text in. I want an integer array, static integer array called text in. Same thing for text out. So let's see what we have to change, what we can keep, and so forth. All right. So let's think about this. So the input is still a string. So what I have to do is parse it. I have to break it up into a bunch of integers, and these integers are the ASCII codes of the cars, right? So all right. So so we declared our private instance field text in right here. Okay, but we're going to treat this as an object. If we have an object in our class as a private instance field, one of the main jobs of our constructor is to construct that object, right? So, all right, so text in. How are we going to do that? We're going to construct text in as a new integer array. So equals new integer array. Where did new go? New integer array. Now, they're static arrays, meaning that it's a fixed length, and the length of it in this case is going to have to be the length of the string, so s.length. So then we have whoops, we're having my insert key. Then we have an element in the array for every single one of the characters in the string or every one of the ASCII codes. Text out is going to be a separate issue. Let's keep that separate. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to traverse the string like I did in the for loop below. And then I'm going to take each character off the string and put it into the text in array. Okay, so here we go. So for I, it's almost the same thing as this, isn't it? Yeah, well, all right, let's just write it out. For int I starts at 0, goes to s.length, I++. What are we going to do? S.length times. We're going to load up text in sub I with s.carat sub I. And it's sort of like a get I in the array list class. We'll get to that. Now, the problem with this is it returns a car. And I want an int, so let's cast it to an int. I mean, it really is an int. It's really the ASCII code, but whatever. We can cast it to an int because that's really what it is. All right, so where is it? Yes, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take this quantity and cast it to an int. Notice I need these parentheses here because otherwise I'd be casting s before I do the car act, and I can't cast a string to an int. Okay, so that loads up text in. So that takes the string input from the main class, chops it up in a bunch of characters, converts them to ASCII codes, ints, and throws them into the integer array text in sub I. Okay. Now, what about text out sub I? Well, text out sub I, text out is going to do the same thing, so we're going to have to construct it as a new static int array of size s.length. We could have stored this somewhere as length, I guess. The length method. Okay. Good. And for I equals 0 to I is less than sub length plus, okay. Now what we want to do is we're going to load up text out sub I, so sub 0, sub 1, sub 2, right? Is going to become the encrypt of now encrypt wants a car, right? Okay, so it's the encrypt of what's in text in, right? So I'm going to say text in sub I. But that's an int, so let's cast that to a car. And I don't need any more parentheses in this because text in sub I is one thing. So, whoops, I want to make it a car. Alright, so that sends a car over to... something happened to my internet connection here. Something strange going on. Okay. So that sends a car over to here. And I don't... The encryption algorithm is not really the point here. The point is... how is a string of characters similar to a static int array, an integer array, and how's that going to be similar to an array list of integer objects, right? Well, I want to see how to compare and contrast these different kinds of arrays. So did I do anything different down here? This is for debugging. I don't have to worry about that. Not really using that. Okay, so the encrypt method. Did I have to do anything different down here? We're plugging in a car, we're taking out a car, so I guess that's all the same. All right, let's test it. Oh, and of course we've got to change the tester to construct a Rot13b object. So we're testing the right class. All right, so save that. Go over here, save that, Control S. Go over here. Let's Java C Rot13 tester.java. Oh, what do I do? Incompatible types. Well, actually, I don't need that anymore. All right, I'm going to get rid of that because, yeah, I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, so I really don't need this thing here. This was for debugging purposes last time, so I'm going to comment this out. When text in and text out were strings, I could rewrite it for integer arrays, I guess, but I'm not really using that anymore, so... All right, so just comment that out for now or delete it. Ooh, what did I do? Did I do something weird? What did I do? What is going on? Wait, that's not... Oh, I'm thinking of something else. Okay, I'm going to have to rewrite the get text in to get text out methods too because they're not strings anymore, and I'm using them in the tester to print them out, right? Oh, silly me. I thought that was something else. Sorry. All right, so no, let's not comment that out. Let's modify it for use with using a static integer array. All right, so public string gets text in. Let's make it like a toString. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a temporary string. This is going to be like a little mini toString method. Temp. Let's initialize it to the empty string, I suppose. And what we're going to do is going to like build up temp to be the string that we want to return. So how about for int I or j or k or whatever you want equal to 0 up to, now be careful, I is less than text in dot length. Now be careful here. Length is not a method. Length is like a public instance field. It's sort of weird. It's derived from how static arrays were handled in C and C++, so this is sort of odd, but that's how it works. Okay. All right, and what are we going to do? We're going to take temp, which is a string. Right now it's the empty string. We're going to concatenate it, each character off the text in. So how about take text in sub I, which is an int, and then convert that to a car, and then if we have cars concatenating into a string, it's going to be one big huge string. All right, I think that's okay. Now let's see. Get text out would do the same thing basically. All right, so you know what? I'm just going to copy this. Whoops, return temp. So it's like it's a toString. But I'm going to call it a toString because it's not making a toString of the object Rot13b, which includes both, maybe that's what I should do. Maybe we should just write a big, huge toString. All right, let me do it the way we did it in class. And then I could probably consolidate this as one big, huge toString to print out both text in and text out at the same time. But then that would change the tester somewhat. I don't know if that's the idea. I didn't want to change the tester. All right, so for that reason, I'm not going to make this one big, huge toString, but I could have. I could make a toString that says text in equals the first temp, and text out equals the next temp, and just return both of those. Return that whole huge string. All right, but right now I'm going to do text out. By the way, it's the same. Text out and text in have the same length, but whatever. And text out. Alrighty. I think that'll do it. Okay, let's test it. Save it. So preferably, I probably should just make one big huge toString and then print line, foo, and that's it. Not even foo.toString. Okay, but I don't. My idea in this particular project was also to keep the user in the dark as to what data structures we're using, so they don't really care about the guts of the methods. So I don't want to change the interface. I want to have the same interface. I have a get text in, a get text out. I have a constructor, blah, blah, blah. The private stuff they don't know about. The point is the private stuff they don't know about, even this, right? Okay. So let's go over here. Let's see about that. Oh, I didn't rename it. Okay. So where am I? Get text out, this guy. Might as well just written it all from scratch. Save it. Okay. And boom. Okay. So now let's run it. Now we're taking the input from the command line. So let's say, quote, the rain in Spain, comma, falls, just have a comma, it doesn't really make sense, mainly in the plain. Alright, so there's my encrypted thing. Ger enva va frankva sinfu zibele. Okay. Now, will it decrypt properly? Notice the spaces are ignored, the commas are ignored, the capitals stay capitals, lowercase stays lowercase, uppercase stays uppercase, punctuation is ignored, right? Okay, so let's run it again, but this time, let's put this in quotes. And the rain in Spain falls mainly in the plain. Perfect. It just came back perfectly uncorrupted. There you go. That's it. We're done. Unless you wanted to make it like a toString, this is sort of bugging me. But if we could override the toString method from the object class and public string toString, and then in here what we would do is I would need 4 prints, right? Just one print line, foo, just print line foo, and it would print the whole thing, text in equals whatever it was going to return in text in, and text out equals whatever. Make one big huge string return in the toString, so it describes the whole object, all the private instance fields are described. Okay, but I'm going to keep the interface the way it is, so leave it. All right, so I'm done. So there's the tester for Rot13b, and there's Rot13b, and that's how you deal with static int arrays or static anything arrays. Okay. All right, so next we'll do Rot13c, what I call C7X1c. C7X1c. So using an array list of integer objects instead here and see what happens. Alrighty. So, alright, so it'll be next time. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope that's helpful. Don't forget your lab. Whoopsie. You have C7X2 through C7X6 to do. That's pers and pers tester.java, and that's really all one big huge program. Okay, and so we're doing everything else in class. We're doing 1, you're doing 2 through 6, we're doing 7, 9, 10, 11. We'll skip, I guess, 8. And I guess it's always skipping. Okay, so bye-bye, YouTube. Have a nice day.